Okay, well, Melanie and Giulio, so good to see you again via Zoom. The last time we talked was back in May. Now, all three parts of Gabriel's Inferno are now out. I've seen part 3 multiple times now, and I loved it so much. I'm honestly just curious, getting each of your thoughts because, with coronavirus happening this year, the release getting delayed, you guys filmed these 3 parts over 5 months. What is it like just knowing that all 3 of the parts of the first book are now out for people to see? Melanie, I'll start with you.
Relief that everyone's enjoyed them, because you never know. Like the first 2 did get such a warm reception from the fans, but there was a lot riding on that last part, so it's just you never know. So I'm really relieved and happy, and just so grateful to how beautiful and kind this community is. The SR and the Passionflix community, overwhelmingly so. It's so lovely. So just want to say thank you to everyone who's written lovely things and said lovely things. It means a lot.
Giulio, what about you? How do you feel now that all 3 parts are out?
As Melanie said, relieved. It's a great feeling, and I have to say that I'm pretty impressed by all the good reviews and all the love and affections that all the people are expressing to each one of us through social medias and all the community. It's very rewarding for our job and for ourselves.
Well, I absolutely loved parts 1 and 2. I mean, for me, the beauty of the book is just the long, slow burn. So I feel like what you both and what Tosca did with the book was, and I mean, getting SR's kind of guidance as well. They've been ecstatic with it, and I have questions about that later. I have so many questions for you both. Obviously, I want to kind of start with the fight scene because I spoke with Tosca about that in our interview about part 3, and that requires a lot of choreography from you both. So I'm curious for you, Melanie. That's something that you guys shot earlier on in the shoot. What was that fight choreography and working with?
Well, I love fight choreo. I love anything with a bit of action. So. I found it really exciting, and Red, who plays Simon, is just such a dream. He's such a sweetheart. So he plays this, horribly malicious character, and he's this very sweet human. So really professional, really lovely to work with. So I found that a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite parts of part 3.
Yeah, no, same.
But you said the same thing to me the other day. So you better decide which. You just said the same things about me to someone else, so you need to decide who.
I need to vary it up, so I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't feel similarly about another actor. Continue with this hypothesis.
He is not cool with the fight choreography with Rhett being one of your favorite parts of part 3. But Giulio, for you, I mean, for you, you had some punching choreography, and I mean, how was that? How many times did you guys rehearse that? How many times did you and Rhett film that scene?
Not much, to be honest. That was a very packed day, and luckily we had a great stunt coordinator on set. But of course, personally myself, I've been into martial arts many years, and Reith as well was well trained in some fighting sports. So we were able to immediately find each other and do the right thing pretty immediately. And I remember that Tosca was quite impressed and shocked at the very beginning because it looked like it was real. It looked like I punched him.
She was real. At the monitor going,
oh my gosh. But no.
Don't hurt the other actor.
Good. I'm sorry?
It's don't hurt the other actor because it looks so real.
Exactly. Yeah, I always love to be in some, fighting scenes and sequence. I would love to do a great action movie, but yeah, it's good. For once, it's good to be a tormented professor and then, have the occasion to express yourself.
That's what I was
touching
saying.
someone.
Yeah, it was almost like a different thing that we got to see from both Julia and Gabriel and their characters in part 3. Now I know parts 1, 2, and 3 were kind of filmed off, in different order throughout those 5 months. And I'm curious, in regards to the scenes that you each shot for part 3 specifically, did you get any particular guidance from SR in regards to any additional input in regards to Julia and Gabriel? I know I talked with you guys about any type of correspondence you had with SR back in May for our original interview for part 1. And I'm sure it's probably hard to remember everything, but what type of guidance did you get from SR in regards to part 3? Or was it primarily done through Tosca? Melanie, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think most of the correspondence happened, none of it was personal, it was through the conduit of Tosca. So from my understanding, Tosca consulted quite heavily, making sure that everything was to the liking of SR, and that it was the vision that the books, had, originally. So I think in that way, they were working together to deliver something that the lovers of the book would enjoy. So nothing that I can think of particularly that they said, Julia must have, or this must be. But I think Tosca's pretty on that. She refers to the books as a Bible. So, SR's in good hands that way.
Exactly. Giulio, was it the same for you in regards to just mainly communicating with Tosca about Gabriel's character?
Yeah, mainly, and also the fact that the book is the Bible. So we always had
any
this.
questions you had, you just kind of referred to the book. Well, I mean, in SR, I've been seeing they've been very, responsive on Twitter and Instagram, and they've loved all 3 parts. So, I mean, like, congratulations on that. The best thing you wanted to do is the author, of the book saying, like, yes, these are my characters. So, I said all 3 parts were kind of filmed simultaneously, not necessarily in order. How do you guys keep organized on set in regards to where Julia and Gabriel are supposed to be emotionally? Giulio, I'll start with you. I mean, because like he has to do so many of these different emotional scenes, and you guys are not filming in order. So what are you doing in regards to keeping yourself organized and where you mentally have to be for the character on the day that you guys are shooting?
Well, I know. Preparation is the key. I studied a lot and I prepared a lot for this character. I was lucky enough to have a month and a half, more or less, the script before we start shooting it, and so that allowed me to really know the script, like each single letter I was aware of. And personally, I use a method, which is the Stanislavski method or the Meisner method. So what I do is I write down each scene, for each scene, what do I want, who I'm talking to, what are the previous circumstances, and every time that I have to shoot a sequence, I somehow connect to those 3, 4, 5 keywords that somehow open for me that world that I previously created for myself, which I trained a lot in the period before. Melanie, luckily, worked in a very similar way, and that allowed me to somehow connect immediately with her, rather than just being with myself and with my idea of the scene. The good thing about this movie is that this movie is very much about the slow burn and the chemistry. And I was lucky enough to work with her because we really have a similar way of work. And somehow this made everything easier, let's say, and more.
No, I love the answer about the keeping notes. Melanie, did you do anything similar in regards to figuring out the mindset of Julia that you had to get into that particular day of filming?
Absolutely. I do have a really similar working method to Julia, which really helps in terms of how we approach the script. We were really fortunate in that the flashbacks were filmed first. So the part in the script where we were meeting each other, and we were just getting to know each other as humans was the part that we started with. That was primarily for haircut reasons. It's so useful for us to go, well, this is the genesis, and this is actually where we're finding each other as actors as well. And then building on that. And with the script, like, this is a long script. Obviously, it's being broken into 3 movies. So you actually do have to emotionally chart your arc over that and refer back and go, okay, so where was I when I did this? And I'm doing this end scene now. So if I'm peaking here, like, am I giving myself place to go before that? All of that. Like, so there's a lot of, mentally checking into the scenes. And then once you're there, you have to let that all go. It's about the other person, about what you want, about, you know, what are the obstacles in the scene, and who are you speaking to?
Yeah, no, thank you both for answering that question, because as I've seen all 6 hours of the film over the last couple of months, you know, since May, that was one of my biggest questions now that it's completed, is how you guys kind of kept organized on set, because the emotions are all over the place. Well, when I spoke with
I have to say one thing. Sorry, Lauren.
Go ahead.
Is that you said before that we shoot it for 5 months, okay? Which is actually not correct. We shoot it the entire 6 hours of a movie in 5 weeks.
I think it was more like
5 weeks. I'm thinking 5 months, just because it's I'm thinking over the last 5 months of the part 3 movies. But yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
But
Sorry.
yes, no, I know. When I spoke to Tosca, she said that everything was done within 5 weeks, and even the last 20 minutes of the movie was done within 1 day, like one filming day. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of.
That is insane to me.
Which is crazy if you think about it, because the amount of work, like, seriously, sometimes me and Melanie may sound repetitive with this, but the amount of work, the amount of information, the amount of scenes, the amount of the emotional energy that we had to, you know, use and put into the character was so overwhelming at a certain moment that I can clearly see myself in the movie when I was completely exhausted or when I was fresh in the morning. Like, I know exactly, even though I don't remember it, but I know when I see the movie, oh, this one was shot probably in the morning, this one was shot in the evening, because I can clearly see myself. Like, you know, it's tough. Sometimes it was
crazy.
very tough, was very challenging.
A whole day in a scene, and you're wrapped up in these, you know, few scenes, and then you have to let it all go, dump it in the evening, and get the new ones, and start, you know, inhaling them for the next day. When you're shooting so much at a speed, it's a marathon. It's huge.
Yeah, no, it really is.
It's sprinting.
and you know that most of the time. Sorry, Melanie. We shoot with in the same locations, okay? So maybe one scene that might be very challenging for Melanie, for example, the monologue about her being shoveled by her mother, was taking place, I think, in her bedroom, or in my bedroom, sorry, in the Clark's house. But then in the same location, we're supposed to shoot many other scenes which were emotionally completely at the opposite from that moment. So it's so challenging and so difficult sometimes to, you know, shut yourself from all the rest around you and get yourself into that pain, and then into that joy, and then back into that pain. We're kind of
it's almost like you guys are instruments.
Psychopaths.
Yeah. You guys are just
we laugh, we cry.
You guys are being emotional instruments. Well, obviously the last 20 minutes of part 3 is just so beautiful. I love the intimateness and like the playfulness of Giulia and Gabriel leading up to that moment. And when I spoke with Tosca about this scene, she mentioned that, of course, the book is the Bible, and that the 3 of you worked so closely together. And I'm curious, for the 2 of you, what was the conversation like between the 2 of you as actors prior to filming that scene? And do you have any rehearsal time at all all, or not really that much because the shoot is so quick? Melanie, I'll start with you.
Well, I think we had spent 5 months, oh my God, felt like it, 5 weeks.
It looked like, but it's 5 weeks.
Together. And I think the bond that was built through that, and the getting comfortable and knowing you can trust this person, that was really the lead up. I'm so glad that it was sort of one of the last things that we filmed, because we had actually built a language together, and security. And look, I think more than rehearsal, there was a lot of talking through, the way it was going to be filmed and all of that kind of thing. But I think we were kind of just ready to just like, let's do this. Let's get it done when it came to it. And it was, to be honest, it was very comfortable. I've got to be honest, when I first read the script, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, am I going to do this? This is wild.
Yeah.
But when it came to it, it was, everyone was super respectful. And yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Giulio,
obviously.
Yeah,
what
do you want to expand?
I mean, she was working with me. What do you expect? No.
Love it.
Seriously, I think I was kind of concerned in the very beginning, because this kind of situations and scenes and sequences, they might be very graphic, but they might not transmit anything to anyone. They might be just visual. But I would say that we have spent a couple of days talking about certain moments and certain emotions that Tosca was trying to capture. And we had, as Melanie said, the time to build a language between ourselves, a language of confidence, a language of two people that actually start to know themselves. And when we were there, I would say that was very much about the position, the blockings we say, which is basically where the camera will be and how on or where you should be. But then between those blockings, it's like a music that starts to flow. And Tosca was very nice to give us the amount of space that we needed to be unaware that we were naked somehow on a bed with a lot of people around us, even though it doesn't look like, but we had 25, 30 people watching us like this while we were in that moment. And it's not that easy, because it's you need to find a very intimate part of you that it's most of the time it loves to play hide and seek. It doesn't like to show up if the situation is not really private. So it's challenging, but at the same time it was very rewarding. I saw it, and I think it's very beautiful. I think it's very, very nice. It's a great piece of cinematic.
I loved it so much. Yeah. And congratulations to you both for just bringing that scene to life for the fans so beautifully. And speaking of the fans, I have so many fan questions. Mainly people were just saying all these kind comments and thanking the two of you for bringing these characters to life. I would list all the comments here, but there's honestly too many of them. Angie wants to know, for Giulio and Melanie, for the both of you, are there any characteristics of these characters that you would like to have more in you, which I thought was kind of interesting. So Melanie, is there something of Giulia's that you wish, that you really admire about her, that you would love to have in your own life?
I think Giulio approaches everything with a spirit of kindness. And I don't know if I have the level of patience she does. So probably that.
I love how Giulio.
Oh, checking your head. You agree with that?
So you're like, yeah, more patience. But Giulio, is there something from Gabriel Professor Emerson that you admire of him that you wanted to take into your own life, or maybe something that you learned about your own self by playing him?
It's a complicated situation. Okay. I don't know if I can say this, but when I first met Professor Emerson, our relationship in the very beginning was not that simple, because I was like, why is he doing these things? I was not judging him, but I was trying to really understand why certain things were made in a certain ways and not in others. And then I started to understand more about the vulnerability and the fact that some people may react that way. When it comes to your questions, I would say that for sure, I love literature, but not as he does. So one thing that I would love to have is to be more patient like he is, and study more, or actually studied more in the high school, because Dante was one of those things that we needed to know, and I was always not good at it. So that's for sure one thing. But in general, there are certain things of Gabriel that that are distant from me. I don't drink. I don't think I treat people in the same way that he did or he does. But again, we had a different past. So I'm not judging him. I'm just saying that it was a broken man. And so, not that we need to justify some actions, but, uh, you know, sometimes we are what we've been in the past. And of course, he's a different man than I am, because he's been through a lot different experiences, of course. So a lot of good things about him, but also a lot of things that I'm not really close to me.
Yeah. Well, Janet wants to know, what did each of you think of the word angel fucker when they first read it? Because Giulio says it so well. That was it said. Giulio says it so well. And I was like, I will ask. What did you guys think of that?
This is bizarre. Where is it coming from? That was my first thought, honestly.
Giulio, what are your thoughts on that?
I loved it. I loved it.
How many times did you have to
Angel
say that?
Fucker. I don't know. I don't even know how many times I said it in the movie now, and I was actually saying it all around the people on set. It was becoming a joke.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love that. Tammy wants to know if either of you took anything home from set. Melanie, did you take anything, a wardrobe piece or anything in particular from any of the sets?
I don't think I did. What did you take?
Yeah, you took the pillow from the hotel.
Such a liar.
And also the and that bathtub that you always the bathrobe. Sorry,
okay,
they always.
So I got an apartment with an awesome bathtub, and Giulio got an apartment with no bathtub.
That's true.
Yes.
You wish you could have brought the bathtub home with you.
No, I don't think I took anything from set.
No,
maybe a lot of pictures and a lot of great memories, not necessarily anything material.
I think there's also this sense that we're returning to these characters in this story. Maybe the end of redemption will take something.
Yeah, so, and I know when I spoke with Tosca, I think she mentioned that you guys did 10 days of filming of Rapture, maybe 1/3 of the movie. She kind of mentioned that you guys are hoping to go back to Italy sometime in the spring of next year and start filming again. So I'm curious for each of you, what will you do to pick back up on these characters at the time where you left off in regards to filming Rapture? Melanie, what will you do to reconnect back with Julia again when you can film the remainder of the movies?
Well, I'll head back to that script. And I think even just going back there, because we've filmed, maybe 1/3, it's interesting. We're sort of ahead in a way. There's already been the groundwork laid for where we're heading with this one. So in some ways it's sort of yeah, it's we've got something to lock into, which is kind of great. And memories and going, oh yeah, that's right, that's where we're at this point. And so I've got somewhere to work from.
Julia, what will you do in order to reconnect with Gabriel when you start filming again?
Well, of course, as Melanie said, starting from the script, but I have to be honest, I cannot wait. Because, you know, when you have the chance to work so hard with the character or with the script, and then you have a pause that it's so long, but at the same time, you have the opportunity to see what you've done, you also get more aware of certain things, certain processes, and, you know, I can't wait to be back on set to give to the people an even better Gabriel, because I
And
know it will be
even
even better.
better, we already have the perfect.
Yeah. No, no, trust me. Perfect is a never-ending story. Perfection is a never-ending street. So there's always room for improvement. And trust me, it will be. It will be.
I love it so much. I appreciate both of your guys' time, so much today. I can't, wait until we get Rapture and Redemption, the portrayal of Giulio and Gabriel from the two of you. I told Tosca this and I really mean it. I just don't think that there's a set of actors and Tosca and production company that really could have brought together this book, so beautifully for fans in a longer formed anthology series. It was just so nice to see you guys be able to breathe life into these scenes versus having an entire book be crammed into a 2-hour-long feature. So thank you on behalf of all the fans for everything that you've done for the films. And I cannot wait for Rapture. The teaser on Passionflix looks so good. I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a different type of Gabriel that we're going to see. So I'm really excited to see what you guys do.
Well, it's going to be a different type of Gabriel in a story also. So we'll see. You'll see something cool, something special. I'm working on it already.
Ooh, yeah. I was like, what are you guys doing right now in regards to prep? I want to hear.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait to get back into it.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Well, Melanie and Giulio, I appreciate your time so much today, and I will touch base with you on the next one. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Lauren.